Hello and welcome to Got Basic. I'm Corey Smith, and in this episode we are going to go through the process of installing DOSBox on Windows 11 and installing and setting up QuickBASIC 4.5 in a clean way that allows us to keep things tidy as we progress forward in these videos. So first things first, I'm actually going to open up my downloads folder so you can see what I have in here. And then we're going to go back to the browser, show you where to get these items, and continue the process. So the first thing we're going to need is we're going to need the installer for DOSBox. And we're also going to need the installation media for Microsoft QuickBASIC 4.5. We're going to put all of the files from all of the diskettes into a single folder, as you see here. Now in my case, I had the physical media. I have a USB floppy drive. I can put the original media in there, copy all the files over, and here they are. If you do not have the original media, then of course you'll need to get it. One option is to go to eBay and spend $300 to $1,500 for a copy. Or I'll give you another option. So I'm going to move this back out of the way. We'll come back to it in a moment. So again, QuickBASIC, gotbasic.com, we're going to install QuickBASIC. There are many different versions of BASIC. If you are a BASIC enthusiast or interested in any different version or what types of versions of BASIC happen to exist, and you would like to communicate with others that are also interested in BASIC, please consider joining us in gotbasic.com, as well as considering jumping into our Discord server where you can communicate and interact with others in real time. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. So again, we're going to start with DOSBox. In this case, we're going to use the core version of DOSBox. There are several additional forks that add different kinds of improvements, take kind of a slightly different angle at things. And in some cases, they support more hardware than the core version does. Specifically, I've had at least one person tell me that the DOSBox did not work for them. They had to go with DOSBox X because they have a foreign keyboard. In this case, I'm in the United States, not having a problem with that. So I'm just going to stick with the core. I'm sure the instructions are very similar regardless of which fork you actually go with. In any case, we're going to move on to actually installing. And there's a great wiki on all things related to installing. You can go here, walk through this. It's not necessary. I just wanted to point it out because I'm going to go through the process as well. So the first things we need to do is we need to go to the downloads. And in downloads, obviously there's many different versions. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about doing it on Windows 11. These instructions, once you get past the installation, we start specifically talking about DOSBox. We'll work on any platform that supports DOSBox. So anyway, you click on the download now. You're going to wait for the little spinny on SourceForge so you can look at the wonderful advertisements. And then you'll see where it actually prompts you to save it. I've already done so, so we're going to skip past that. And at this point, we can move on to the other thing we're going to need, which again, I already have the media. I already have it copied to a folder. I suggest you do the same once you have the media. If you don't have the media, where can you get it? Where can you find it? One option, and I'm not being clear here, I'm not recommending that you do this. I'm not telling you this is the best option. I'm telling you this is a option, and you do so at your own risk. With that said, here's QuickBASIC 4.5 on winworldpc.com. Again, there's several versions. You can click on 4.5. As you scroll down, there is an MSDN copy. If you were going to go this path, I would recommend probably doing the MSDN copy. And then while you're here, if you do not have a manual, you might want to get a copy of it. So this should get you the files you need to install QuickBASIC 4.5. And we get the environment that we need through DOSBox. So now we can get rid of the browser, and we're going to go into our installation. So first things first, we launch the installation. Yes, I would like to install it. So I'm going to click yes on the UAC. Now we're in here. We have our little wizard. Click next, next. And here's where going to be our first change that we're going to make an adjustment to. So you go /DOSBox. Okay, so we have DOSBox. All the instructions I'm going to be doing are going to assume that you installed it in the same location that I'm installing it. So if you decide that that's not what you want to do and you want to install it wherever you want to, by all means do so. Just adjust all the instructions accordingly. So click install. It's very quick. You can see what it did. Now we're going to go ahead and close the installation. I'm going to copy this into memory. I'll probably jump back to it in a second. What do we need to do next? Oh, so I'm going to cd DOSBox and do a directory. We've got plenty of files here. First thing we're going to do is tweak and adjust our... Actually, we're going to launch DOSBox first. Now, we're going to make an adjustment to the settings. So we're going to do DOSBox, tab for options. It's going to open up Notepad, and we're going to make a couple of changes. So the first change we're going to make is we're going to change the output surface. Instead of surface, we're going to change it to OpenGL. Which is the best one? No idea. OpenGL is just the one I happen to use, and I'm going to increase the size of the window to 1024 by 768. Now, if we don't do anything else and save this, and we go ahead and close it, we'll come back to it, and now launch DOSBox. You're going to see that our window is slightly bigger. Now in here, I'm going to go ahead and exit. Now we're going to create a directory called mkdir c-drive. We're going to launch DOSBox again. And just to kind of get rid of that console window, I'm going to type in no console. So once we're in here, I'm going to say mount c:// DOSBox c-drive. We're going to go to the C drive. You're going to see nothing's on there. I'm going to go ahead and copy con autoexec.bat. I'm doing this inside of DOSBox so that we create a proper ASCII file, not a modern, Unicode UTF-8 headered text file. So we're going to do that. I'm going to type in alt echo off. I think I was supposed to have a space there, but it doesn't really matter. So if I type autoexec.bat, you're going to see that it's wrong, but that's okay. So now we can go ahead and exit cd c-drive, and you can see we've got a file here. Now I can type in notepad autoexec.bat. Notepad will open up the file as an ASCII file, and because it is an ASCII file, it will go ahead and save it and keep it an ASCII file. So we can click notepad autoexec.bat. And we're going to make some changes here. So obviously the first one is to fix that. And then we're going to type in some settings. Let me bring up my little notes over here. Okay, so we're going to set path equal z:\\. That's the utilities folder of DOSBox standard. And then we're going to add c:\/qb45. It's not there yet, but it will be when we're done. We're going to set lib to c:\/qb45 \lib. We're going to set include to equal c:\/qb45 \include. We're going to set help files equal c:\/qb45 \help. And then we're going to clear the screen just to tidy things up. And save this. Close. There's a close tab, I guess. Yes. So now, at this point, we still haven't mounted the file for the C drive. So now we need to go back into our options again. So type in DOSBox tab, back into options, jump all the way down to the bottom of this file. And here's where we're going to put in mount c:\/DOSBox /c-drive. Then we're going to change to the C drive, and then we're going to launch autoexec.bat should start up our batch file. So now we save this and close it. Now we should be able to launch DOSBox again. And there we go. We got a nice clean C prompt. If we do a directory, there's our autoexec.bat. But right now we don't have QuickBASIC 4.5. So let's get out of this. And the next step we need to do is we need to copy from the downloads folder this QB45 install media. So I'm going to copy there. And then to make it easier, I'm just going to start dot from here to open up another copy of Explorer. And we're going to paste our directory into there. Now I can go ahead and close that. Reduce that back down. Let's tidy up our screen here. And now we can go back in the DOSBox again. From inside of here, we want to temporarily mount that installation media as our A drive. To do so, we can type in mount A, so go /DOSBox / QB45 install. Now we can go to our A drive and we can type setup. Now my settings that you're going to see on the screen here have already been kind of prepped. Your settings will look different. Please adjust your settings to match mine unless you're planning on doing something completely different. So get starting on the process. We're going to continue. We're going to run the full setup, set the paths. The executable path is QB45. Now, before we move forward, right now we're on the menu. In order to get off the menu and to modify the value up here, you have to tab. Then when you're done, you tab back down to the menu and then you can continue. As you can see, I want to put the include files inside of the include folder, put the libs in the libs, the help in the help, and then we're going to go to set color and display options. I'm going to leave these default. Moving on to the next screen, there's one value on here I modify. You press tab to cycle through all the different options. I modify the tab width to be 2. So if you want to have the same setup I do, change yours from whatever it is, I think 8 to 2. And then we're going to return to the full screen menu, show the options, just as going through and just reviewing the settings as they've been set. And then we can now install QuickBASIC with the current options. So let's get that going. Now at this point, as I said, I copied all the files off of the diskettes into a single folder. That single folder has been mounted as the A drive. The installation does not check to see if the files are there. It's assuming you're having to swap the floppies. So every time it pops up and says you should change insert disk, you can just press continue because it's already done. And then the other thing that's going to pop up is it's going to want to create folders on your hard drive inside of that environment. So you're going to have to say continue to go ahead and create the path. And then basically it's just a process of continue, 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 so on and so forth, right? You're going to get to this screen here that says QuickBASIC successfully installed. It's in the QB45 folder. You have to change the QB45 folder and type in QB to launch QuickBASIC. However, we do not, because we've done what the second part of this says, which is modify your autoexec.bat file to add it to the path. See your DOS manual for details. Well, I've already done that because we knew we were going to go there anyway. So press continue, and then we're going to exit and run QuickBASIC. I'm going to go ahead and exit out. CD /. Now if we do a directory here, you can see we have a QB54 folder. Now, just to tidy things up, let's get rid of that A drive and see what it's going to start like from a fresh experience. So let's go ahead and exit out of here, launch DOSBox again. This is our how we will experience this going forward. The next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make a directory called code. And inside of code, we're going to type in qb hello.bas. And then we're going to clear the screen, type in print hello world. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and save this, but I want to save as, because by default it wants to save it as a QuickBASIC file. I don't want that. I want it as a text file. Say OK. And then we can run it. There's our hello world. Press any key to continue. We're back in here, and I can exit. And you can see we now have a hello.bas file. Let's see. And just to show, so we launched QB inside of this folder. If I go up a folder, I can type in QB here, and it will just open up QuickBASIC, and there we go. So this gives you QuickBASIC. You have the install files placed where they need to be to in order to have a nice, clean environment going forward. In the next episodes, we will add to this installation with some extensions. And as we progress, we will start diving in and doing some hands-on coding. With that said, again, just to repeat, please join our Discord server and consider browsing the gotbasic.com website for all different types of versions of BASIC. And we will see you in the next episode.